Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Jerry from TraderThings.com, and right now you are tuning in to the Wolf of Forex. An exchange rate is the number of units of one currency exchangeable for one unit of another. The United States uses a system of floating exchange rates, and under this policy, exchange rates are determined by market forces or the demand and supply of dollars. The demand for dollars is based on other countries' desires to purchase U.S. domestic goods and services and to invest in the United States. And the supply of dollars is based on U.S. citizens' desires to purchase the goods and services from other countries. An equilibrium in the exchange rate occurs when the quantity of dollars demanded equals the quantity of dollars supplied. Now, when the exchange rate deviates from this equilibrium zone, it has its tendencies of moving back towards to that equilibrium zone. Basically, if the quantity of dollars supplied exceeds the quantity of dollars demanded, the exchange rate will fall and a depreciation of the dollar occurs. If the quantity of dollars demanded exceeds the quantity of dollars supplied, the exchange rate will increase, causing an appreciation of the dollar. Now let's take a look at some economic factors that will affect the US exchange rate. One factor affecting exchange rates is real GDP. GDP is the final value of goods and services produced within an economy within a year, normally. Real GDP is a measure of a country's gross domestic product that has been adjusted for inflation. And increases in real GDP in the United States will increase the supply of dollars to foreign countries, causing the dollar to depreciate. A second factor affecting exchange rates is inflation rates. Inflation is a sustained increase in the overall price level of goods and services in the economy. It has an effect of devaluating a particular currency. An increase in the US inflation rate will increase the supply of dollars to foreign countries and decreasing the demand for it while causing the dollar to depreciate. A third factor affecting exchange rates is interest rates. An interest rate is a proportion of a loan that is charged as interest to the borrower, typically expressed as an annual percentage of a loan outstanding. An increase in the US interest rates will decrease the supply of dollars to foreign countries while increasing the demand of dollars to foreign countries, causing the dollar to appreciate. These three factors will in turn cause movements within the exchange rate, and movements in the exchange rates alter the international price of goods and services. If the dollar depreciates, the relative price of domestic goods and services falls, while the relative price of foreign goods and services increase. This change in price will increase US exports and decrease US imports. If the dollar appreciates, the relative price of domestic goods and services increases, while the relative price of foreign goods and services falls. The change in relative prices will decrease US exports and increase its imports. Exchange rate policies come in a range of different forms. A floating rate is completely determined by market forces. A soft pegged rate is usually determined by market forces, but the central banks sometimes intervene. A hard pegged rate is controlled by central banks to keep the currency fixed at certain levels. Merged currencies is completely identical to that of another nation's currency. Some of the G10 currencies are linked to the price movements of commodities. By investment bank definition, G10 currencies are the US dollar, the euro, the yen, the pound, the franc, the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Swedish krona, and the Norwegian krone. Now, it is natural for some currencies to be correlated with commodity prices because their economic growth is directly related to exports or a reliance on imports. For example, the Australian dollar tends to be positively correlated with the price of gold. This is because Australia is the second largest producer of gold, so any changes to the demand for gold can impact the health of its economy. It is also worth mentioning that a lot of commodity prices are sensitive to the behavior of China because it is one of the largest importing nations and it's an economic superpower. Any improvement China makes in its economy contributes to an increased demand for commodities. So the currencies of exporting nations like Australia are likely to increase in comparison to other currencies. However, if China's economy slows down, then commodity-linked G10 currencies will suffer the most, but there will be times where these correlations will deteriorate. To conclude, a few countries may need a weaker exchange rate to stimulate aggregate demand, or a stronger currency may cripple export industries, while rapid swings in exchange rate could debilitate its banking sector. Every choice, stronger or weaker, floating or pegged, presents potential trade-offs that we use in our analysis when developing trading ideas.